30 years old, virgin, never been on a date, never had any form of romantic contact. 12-year-long journey, multiple boot camps, coaches, mentors, workshops, retreats, going to events, astronomical numbers of approaches. And yet, no results. That nightmare of a scenario that I point out happened to me. It actually happened to me. I went through it and I was able to turn it around after multiple years of extreme focus. And today I don't have this problem. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about what it was like going through this experience and ultimately the really important lessons that I learned that changed me as a human being, that allowed me to live a way better quality of life and to now be free and liberated from the pain that I was in for so long. And I'm grateful to the incredible coaches and mentors and the incredible friends that I had who helped me. My dear Coach D, who saved my life, I love you so much. You're the best. And of course, many of the important mentors that I had. The great, incredible Pancake Mouse, and several other people who really helped me and who now have made me so passionate that I want to serve other men and make a contribution to the other men's lives like they did for me, because I'm grateful. So, firstly, whilst this situation is difficult and shocking, I do want to make you aware that it was worth fixing. Resolving this and being able to date lovely women who gave me emotional experiences that allowed me to get out of pain and heal myself, it was priceless, dude, priceless. And had I not faced this dragon that I had in my life, then my life wouldn't have really been much at all. And fortunately, I can say I've lived a killer life and had a really interesting experience in the world since I went on my journey and took it extremely serious and went all in. Now, for you guys who are listening, maybe you are thinking to yourself, how can someone be in this position? How can you end up, right, having done astronomical numbers of approaches, having done all this stuff and gotten no results? I'm going to explain that to you, because the reality of the situation is a lot of my programming, what was fed into me, the way I saw the world, and how I really existed as a man was extremely inappropriate for the modern dating market. I was what you'd call a nice guy. I was an agreeable person. I was a very positive, warm, affable, sort of good citizen, very conscientious, very hardworking, did the right thing, right? And didn't rock the boat, was just a good dude, but was a nice guy. So wouldn't be assertive, wouldn't have a tremendous amount of belief in myself, didn't have a great mental architecture of experiences, wasn't great socially and as a communicator, wasn't extremely adept at reading social cues. So there was some vibe and social deficit there. Wasn't a massively social person, but wanted to change because I recognized that without love, without a good relationship, without good experiences, without bonds, then life is a miserable, empty husk that you don't want, right? You do not want. You do want a good dating life. You do want to have a partner in this life. You do not want to go through this life alone. You want connection, love, romance, intimacy, and the glory and beauty of human compassion and kindness. You do need to have that in your life and experience it. Certainly if you're someone who values quality relationships and quality experiences and is a man who, for whatever reason, that is important, right? So those factors of being quite a nice guy, quite a agreeable dude, it led to me having a lot of issues in forming relationships with women because they'd see me as a friend or just a pleasant person to be around, but that there wasn't the element of attraction and I couldn't spark it. And despite trying, because my inner foundation wasn't geared up the right way, and all of my beliefs and all of my wiring and so many of my experiences and rejections culminated in creating a person that just couldn't create attraction. you get into the frustrating position where you're doing huge amounts of approaches to nowhere, and you're changing and you're trying things and you're trying to sexualize and all these sorts of things, and there's congruence issues and your vibe's not quite right and there's something just a little bit off. And that was a frustrating position I found myself in. And I was there for clearly most of my life. And you become like this self-fulfilling prophecy where after so many approaches, like in my case over 10,000, you begin to have like learned helplessness where you start to kind of believe there's nothing you can do anymore. Okay, and that takes you into a dark place, to be quite honest with you. And you get more and more alienated and disconnected until you are really living in a different reality altogether. And that's sad. That really is sad. This story would have been a tragedy had I not woken up. I started to wake up at around 25, 26 and really manifestly go all in on self-improvement. I mean, I worked like a fucking man possessed. There will not be a human being who I could say in those 2 years, 25, 26, I fought for my life. 12, 14 hours a day, not one day off, multiple years, to change myself, to improve myself. And my anxiety levels began to go down. I began to rewire myself. I began to improve my habits and to become more effective and more successful person in life and in the world more broadly. And I built some actual confidence and began to see there is worth to me. And a lot of the things I did in those years, they did help. I'm talking a lot of emotional healing, journaling, breath work, became an advanced student, neuroplasticity, habit change, learning to become a very proactive person, changing my mindset, my mental development, improving my mental models, just really becoming a freaking warrior of self-improvement. It did build me up a lot in life, and I became a different type of person, and I could speak to people, and I could be more confident, and I could be more grounded and more centered, and people did begin to respond to me differently. However, it wasn't quite creating anything for me. The approaches and all the other things and the multiple boot camps and the pickup artists and all the rest, it wasn't doing a jack shit for me really, until I pretty much at the age of 27, after many, many years, I will be honest, at 27, I did give up hope and understood that maybe I will have to live the rest of my life alone and maybe I can't make this better. Maybe this is the rest of my life at this point. Because, you know, I've been trying since I was 18 and I was always out, I was always trying and I didn't have any luck. And I'm talking about tried everything, dating apps, Instagram, whatever, man. I tried it all and nothing ever happened. And I mean no matches for multiple years, and I mean not a single text for multiple years, and I mean like loads of approaches, couldn't get a text back for multiple years. Tough times, tough times, a decade like that. So what happens then is this just sets the stage for a vicious and ferocious comeback where, you know, I had these many dark nights of the soul, just sobbing in bed, begging the Almighty, please don't let me die like this. Don't let this be my life. I can't go on living this way. Whatever is so wrong with me, please allow me to find a way to fix myself. I'll do the work. I will do anything. Just please show me something that I can find that can help me. It was dark from around 27, 28, and I slipped into just serious workaholism where I did nothing but work and just focused on my project management career at the time. And it was around 29, a few weeks before turning 30, that the realization, it dawned on me that I'm now going to turn 30 and I'm a virgin. And it dawned on me, and my childlike innocence had left my life at that point. Because I'd had so much setback and so much harshness and so much like just let down from my life experience that for the first time I began to think, dude, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna live the rest of your life like this. I'd always had this like fantasy that it was gonna work out until a few weeks before my 30th birthday, where that fantasy, it just died. And I awakened to some of the harshness of reality, and in particular, to be quite transparent, the harshness of the low SMV experience. I began to understand, okay, I've got the card that I've got. I've got this hand. I don't know if I can make it, and I don't know if I can live a good life. However, if I can't, and I've tried everything, and I've bust my ass and killed myself in the process, and I'll give myself 5 years. If I still can't make any progress and I can't lose my virginity, then I'll give myself permission to give up and live the rest of my life knowing that I tried. But at 30, I went to fucking war. It was my primary goal to lose my virginity. Found an amazing coach who helped me a lot. He didn't take me all the way. He helped me a lot though, and I appreciate it. And very gratefully, I was able to start to get some results. And I can talk more about how I got my initial first results on another video. But as I got those results and outcomes, unfortunately, the same problem cropped up again. I literally went all in, by which I mean I put my life on hold to just focus on improving my dating situation. I reduced my hours at work. I invested huge amounts of money into coaching. I moved to London, into a location where there's huge amounts of volume. I geared my entire life up to just push and get dating results. And I was starting to get them for the first time in my life, and I was experiencing like so many of these really disturbing sticking points of girls just constantly ghosting, of approaches just going nowhere all the time. I got some results off apps, which was good, but it took several months of just photo shoot after photo shoot to get finally a profile that was making some matches happen. And thanks to the guys who helped me with that, which was extremely life-changing. But it's becoming clear to me after 6 or 7 months of going all in, like 4 or 5 hours of approaching every day, using the dating apps 2 hours every single day, going on as many dates as I can, just working as hard as I can. It's becoming very clear. Something isn't quite working here. Like, I'm getting endlessly ghosted. I'm having like sometimes 50 dates where nothing happens, right? I'm getting all these texts from girls that say, I don't feel a connection to you, Ravi. You're a nice guy, but I just don't feel anything for you. And it keeps happening. And it keeps happening. And it's going on like that for the whole year that I'm living in London at the age of 30, and it goes on for 1.5 years like this. And after all that time, I start to really think and change and get into the nitty-gritty and ask myself, why is this happening? I've tried so hard. And at that point, I start to seek help from further afield. And an amazing guy, Pancake Mouse, great guy, whose blog you can read, whose tweets you can read. This guy has helped a lot of people, and this guy's made a real difference for men. I love him a lot. I think he's an amazing man. And whilst he's retired from the game and everything else, that guy really changed my life and helped me. He's one of the most influential people in my life. He helped me a lot. He really did. So yeah, massive gratitude to him. And at CMU, he's a really important person for us. We were able to make a lot of changes in my personhood and my mindset, and things changed a bit, but I still wasn't breaking through. I was endlessly ghosted, living in existential dread, and I couldn't understand what's so wrong with me that no one wants to go out with me. I can get laid, I can occasionally get some attraction, but then nothing. I can't live like this, basically. And then, after all of these boot camps and mentors and coaches, and at this point, I've had some really great coaches who helped a lot, but they just couldn't quite solve my problem for their own reasons, but it's no shade. And I had some who were fucking shit in this time as well, and they don't bear mentioning in this story. But eventually, Coach D enters the fray. Coach D, right, was the guy that got me out of like this 14-year downward spiral and just chaos I was in. I had to go to New York and meet him and train with him and all the sorts of stuff that we did. Did boot camps with him. We did like months of calls. Did loads of like really close mentoring. blew my mind. All these new concepts that I never knew about, like hypergamy, about SMV, about frame, about masculinity, about receptivity, about emotional stimulation, about outer game, inner game, like the big inner game stuff that he taught me. This guy, like everyone else, had like a minuscule toolkit. Coach D had a fucking universe, a solar system, and it was insane. It blew my mind. So I did the boot camp with him and Pancake Mouse, and a great experience, extremely valuable, right? And those guys taught me that, yes, the modern world and the marketplace for low SMV men like me, and maybe like you, it's changed. It's completely changed. We got fucked over. We're screwed over, right? But there's a way to win. And that way to win is to appeal to universal biological masculinity, real leadership, really taking charge and excelling as a man. Excelling, living the best value system you can live, and being firm and strong and going for what you want in life without victimizing yourself, without bad in a game, and really healing yourself emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. It's so much work. But that's why we've created CMU now, and you know, that experience changes it for me. And I go back into Europe where I was getting my fucking head kicked in for years, and I start, you know, getting consistent results, and I start getting consistent success, like week in, week out, week in, week out. And I build a harem, and I do all these amazing things, and I'm having a crazy freaking sex life, to be honest. And I'm just like, I can't believe after all these years I've done this. And I'm, you know, the guys who helped me, they were good, and I appreciate them. And ultimately, it's now meant that all of this information has been absorbed into my brain, into Coach D's, and we've developed a whole framework and methodology. So ultimately, my experience, as crazy as it was, I'm now able to serve men and make a contribution, and that's really good. That's really good, because we can help consistently take a guy from here, get him all the way over here, and live in a really great quality of life with good relationships, right? And striving to build their businesses, to build their careers, live a great masculine life. And that is what CMU is about. So the key aha moment, the key thing that changed my life, the big thing, right? My first mentor helped me a lot. Like, he was really good, but he didn't really understand like the deeper inner game and the deeper dynamics of the marketplace. And there was a massive gap in his knowledge. God bless him. But you know, he still did good work with me. And he got me some results, right? So no shade on him. He was amazing, really good actually. The aha moment came. There was a good boot camp I did with a great guy who's a friend of mine. I'd say that was really useful about vibe and presence and communications. He helped me a lot. That's the Dom. Great guy, extremely legit, beautiful human being, and like just a great mentor for men, and one of my really good friends too. So he's great. But ultimately, the thing that changed my life was the Pancake and Coach D boot camp. That changed everything. There was my life before that and my life after. What I ultimately learned is that the marketplace is skewed today. It's difficult, it's sad, and you know, we're going through a cultural decline in the world. We're going through a culture war. We live in just a strange era, guys. And I've always felt like the true forcing function is the low SMV male. Because we can't be ourselves. We can't just go out and be potentially how we want to be. Our original conditioning gets devastated, okay? And what we replace that with, masculinity, when we're able to do that in a systematic, methodological, like structured, organized, month after month manner, and we scale it, then we see our reality change in front of our eyes. And we unlock different behaviors and different dynamics, and that's what allows you to be free from this whole experience, because you kill the nice guy within you. You kill the agreeable, weak beta person, and you become a strong, assertive, dominant, grounded person who is at peace with himself, who has ownership of himself and self-possession. And at that point, you have masculinity. The bootcamp rewired my brain to recognize that for just being a man, I have value. And despite the social conditioning that I've had to face my whole life, despite being a low SMV person, I'm still a man, and that still counts for something in this world. With that came a tremendous amount of healing. My results really begin to amplify, they begin to take off. I begin to feel free, joyful. I don't live in pain anymore. And life gets better. Everything gets better from there. Friendships, relationships, dynamics, retention, quality. Traveling the world, having the confidence to push and achieve more in life and have more impact and be ballsier and be willing to get rejected and experience difficult times and keep moving. That's the ultimate unlock of masculinity that led from the difficulty of the past and such a dark life I lived to being free from this problem. I don't chase women anymore. I don't really have too much concern for them at all. I live in my own reality, in my own kingdom. I value my peace. I value my own happiness, my impact that I'm having in the world, above everything else. And for that reason, I have natural core masculinity that enables me to generate real and authentic connection and attraction. That is how you get free. It's a long walk to freedom, guys, if you're on this journey. And I do understand completely, believe me, it took me 14 years. But if it is you, and you're sick of feeling invisible, and you want to reclaim your masculinity and live a confident life of challenge and growth, then you can DM me, CMU on Instagram, you can message me on Telegram, and we can add you to the CM University Telegram chat, where there's action takers and men every single day reclaiming their core masculine essence and living a life of abundance, growth, and success. And we want to invite you to that. If you're a serious person who wants to go out there and fucking take what's yours, we welcome you to the table. Ravi, CMU, like, comment, subscribe. Let's join together, guys, and build an incredible movement and make masculinity great again.